last time I was playing Aeryn, I made a deal with a demon. If you want to hear about that, there's a story. There's a big story like on my YouTube channel or in the Twitch highlights or wherever you can find it. It's like 45 minutes long. The whole story. I made a deal with a demon to grant me witchcraft. The sphere of magic that can only be granted to you by a demon by making a deal with a demon. So, naturally, my lovely patron came to visit. Wanted to make sure that I had everything that I needed. And if there was anything he could do to help, progress my path to power. And so this wild elf comes walking up to us outside of the tavern. We're all standing outside the tavern. Nobody else is there, thankfully. This wild elf comes walking up to us outside the tavern and points at me. And then, beckons and then walks away. And we all look at each other like, what? And I say, follow me and, follow after him. And so we're talking to him in the shadows by the road. I'm pretty sure nobody could see us. We were talking to him, and he said, hi. I'm here to see if you need anything, if I can give you anything. I'm like, well, who are you? And because he's a wild elf. And he's like, oh, I'm one of Midnight's tribe. You know Midnight? This one was close by, so he was easy to hold on to so that I could speak to you directly. So, it's like my demon patron possessing a wild elf. And so we go to the cabin where we're staying so we can, speak out of sight of everybody else, And I start talking and I say, I introduce him to the rest of the wild elves with me, the Gen Vespin. And say, this is my patron. This is the person who has been granting me these new powers. We have a deal. And he says, oh yes, our deal. Do you need anything else? I would be happy to assist you. In anything that you need. And I said, well, there is something I need. I need the scroll that will allow me to cast a witchcraft circle so that we may begin the rituals and the practicing of far stronger magic. He said, ooh, that's a very good idea. It's a very good idea. What do you have to give me? And then I also said, well, there's something else I need, and that's some way to contact you that doesn't expose me like this. Some way to send a message to you that isn't you showing up and perhaps causing a problem for me. He said, oh, well, we can do that. We can do that as well. We can, definitely. What do you have? I said, well, I have this liter of corrupted blood from a high elf. And he goes, ooh, corrupted blood. Look at it, it's purple. How very interesting. That's not enough. That's not enough. I'm going to need more. How much more? 9 liters total. I think that'll make us even. 9 liters of this blood. This specific blood. 9 liters of it. And of course I said, fine. Easily acquired. And Ray spoke up and said, oh, I'll go and get Adeline. And left to go and find Adeline while we spoke with my patron a little more. Tried to introduce him to the swarm, made sure that, everybody was on board with this, because if they weren't, they were going to be a problem. They were going to be a problem for me. Nobody spoke out against it. Nobody said a word. Basically, like, in offense, you know. I said, this is technically against our laws, like the Gen Vespin's laws, to entreat with this creature. But you're all here and nobody's stabbed anyone yet, so I'm assuming that you're on board. You know, and all of them were like, we know what we need to do. And so, 5 minutes later, Ray comes back with Adeline in tow, and they enter the building, close the door behind them. Gen Vespin standing in front of it, so she couldn't leave. Excuse me. And I said, Adeline, I have someone here who might be able to help you with your sickness. Someone who might be able to cleanse you, even. My patron. All they require is 9 liters of your blood. And she's at the front of the group now talking to this possessed wild elf who is like, you know, a channel for my demonic patron. And he says, yes, of course, I can cure you. I can make you feel well again. I've made a deal with the shaman here. She seems to think that I can help. And Adeline's like, 9 liters of my blood, that's a lot. That's a lot of blood. How... Is it that you need 9 liters to cure me, or is that the price? Is it, and he's just like, oh, well, it's the price, of course. Everything has a price. And I spoke up and was like, everything worth doing has a price, Adeline. If you wish to be cured, you need to give the blood over. Keep in mind that I was negotiating for my own thing. I had no idea that if he was going to cure her or whatever. I don't care. What I want is for her to give the blood so that I get my circle and a contact method. You know? I don't care if she's cured or not. It's not important to me. It's not what I'm bargaining for. And she says, thank you very much, Shaman, for organizing this and for bringing me to talk to your patron and for allowing me this action. But I don't think I can afford that. The price is too high, even for my own health. I feel bad about giving this much blood. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to... And she turned to start leaving, and Ray just went, body execute. And she just went... She looked really surprised and called magic armor. And then Calrin went, surprise body execute from the back again. And she just dropped. So she's out. She's out cold. She's bleeding out right now. I turn to the rest of the swarm and I say, pick her up. I'll paralyze her. And she, you know, feed her a potion, and she's just about to, like, get up or scream or say anything, and I just go, by force of will I inflict paralysis. And she's a rigid, paralyzed body on the ground. Conscious, able to hear everything, able to see everything that's happening, and feel it, but paralyzed. And I looked to our alchemist and I said, while we're draining her, be sure to heal her so that the blood returns and we can drain her more. That's for all of you in chat who are like, that's more blood than the human body has, or whatever the fuck. Real life doesn't have magic healing. So, you know. Our alchemist was ready with potions to heal her. Because each liter is like a body point of damage, something like that. But so, one person starts draining blood from her, and I say, you realize that paralysis will not last forever. Won't last forever. only a certain amount of time. And everybody goes like, well, we need to drain her faster. And I step back away from her, and my patron is like watching, and like 4 of the Gen Vespin that were there, everybody except for Croxus and I, was draining her blood at the same time. And you could hear through her paralyzed little mouth these sounds like, you know, like as it was happening. And yeah, like that started happening. Like, everybody was draining blood. We were looking for like bottles and like putting bottles and like draining the blood out and like getting another bottle, or like there's a water bottle with like some water still in it, so you like drink the water and then start draining the blood. Like, we had this whole bundle of bottles, and we're in this dark cabin room, and she's on the ground, and everybody's draining her blood. So we end up with the 9 liters we need, and we hand it off to my patron, and then we need to deal with the after effect. And then we need to deal with the after effect of the fact that she didn't go willingly. Thankfully, we had a forget potion, so I thought, just feed her the forget potion. She'll forget the last 10 minutes, and then we can tell her that there was some attack or something. That kind of thing. And it was like, of course, we'll just give her a potion. So we feed her the forget potion, and she goes, resist. I'm like, it didn't work. Fine. By force of will I inflict forget. Resist. By force of will I inflict forget. Resist. Like, all these resists coming out. I'm like, fuck. You know, like, I'll burn the scroll if I have to, and I take the spell book. I take my spell book out and, like, find the scroll. By force of will I inflict forget. Resist. And she's resisting because, sadly, I forgot that, first of all, high elves have resist psionics for a certain number of times per day. Second of all, if someone is conscious, they can resist to forget. If you're conscious, you can resist to forget. It doesn't say helpless, it says conscious. I thought because she was paralyzed, she wouldn't be able to resist, but I found out later that it's, if they're conscious, they can resist to forget. And so we thought, well, then we'll just kill her. We'll just kill her and dark pact her, and she'll know. But she'll know that we have that letter of her true name. So, killing blow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, dead Adeline. My patron leans down, goes, I summon a hex to grant dark pact. Which is like a life spell, but you get whoever casts it gets the letter of the true name of the other person. It's like an evil life spell, like a devil's bargain life spell. And she goes, refuse, because you can do that. You can be like, I won't give you a letter, but I also won't get life. She goes, refuse. And so she's lying there bleeding out, like in her death count. And Croxus just says, I guess we'll have to roll the dice. She passes through the resurrection circle, she may forget. If she remembers, we'll deal with that. And then my patron says, you know what would be even more convincing? If she didn't go alone. And I looked around the room and I said, I can't ask that of any of you, but if anybody volunteers, speak now. And Chiton says, I volunteer. I'll do it. Kill me. And Croxus turns and goes, fine. Killing blow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slits his throat, just, you know, and he falls to the ground as well. Ray says, we'll wait a few minutes, and as soon as a few minutes are up and her body is gone, we call for a healer. You know? As soon as Adeline's buddy is gone, we run and call for a healer as if we were attacked by Brood. Maybe someone will save Chitin, but Adeline will be gone already. And then Croxus goes, everyone damage yourself. And everybody starts going like, one body, you know, like, too normal, like, beating up our armor and our health, like, hurting ourselves and each other so that it looks like we've been in a fight and we have, like, repairs and healing to do. And then Ray runs out the door and goes like, we need a healer, you know, like runs down the path like, healer, come quick, Jalen, where are you? You know, like calling the names of the healers that we know and like bringing them to the cabin. And the rest of us are standing outside going like, the Brood came up through the floor. They attacked, you know, like we didn't have any way to stop them. They exploded. Adeline and Chitin went down, and Chitin died. He took a death. We didn't get a healer in time. We didn't get a healer in time. So he took a death as well. So they both passed through the resurrection circle. Everybody bought our story. At least initially. You know, who's to say what will happen as we go along. But everybody bought our story. My patron was very happy. I'm going to get the rewards that I seek. You know, my circle and my contact method. But now we have to see if Adeline, when she resurrects, remembers anything. Because that would be very, very bad for us. Just so those of you who don't know the game system know, like, it's a 1 in 10 chance that you remember your death. And if you don't remember, you forget the last hour, basically. Like, whatever happened in the last hour, you don't remember what it was. Unless you remember your death. If you remember your death, you know exactly what happens. You know exactly what happened. Do you roll something? No, one of the... What do you call them? One of the shapers will have, like, a number of fingers up behind their back, and you guess, basically, when you go to report your death. So I'm sitting by the resurrection circle with all my Gen Vespin friends, waiting for Chitin and Adeline to come through the circle. The healers know that they've died. We've got all their stuff. We've moved it here. And now we wait for them to resurrect. And 10 minutes pass, and they say, like, oh, you can see their spirits, you know? One of the mystics in the rooms can see them and asks, like, do either of you remember anything about your deaths? And out of game, I see them both shaking their head. And inside, I've got this little feeling of, like, yes! You know, like, yes! Like, we got away with it! Yes! Like, but I'm trying to look, like, completely impassive. You know, just sitting there with my, like, Aeryn resting bitch face. Just all grumpy. But inside, I'm just, oh, God, yes! Fuck! You know? And so they resurrect and they come through the circle and they're like, what happened? You know, like, oh, I don't remember anything. And we say, the Brood attacked. We couldn't stop them. I'm sorry. We invited you to eat with us. And we were ambushed during the meal. Our apologies. You know, we thought we'd be able to save you, but there were too many. And so I got away with murder, and every one of the Gen Vespin was in on it. All of them were in on it. And so we went back to the cabin with Chitin, who couldn't remember his death either, so he doesn't know what's going on. And we bring him back to the cabin, and we sit him down, and we basically say, like, no, this is what really happened. Here's what really happened. And, like, tell him everything that happened. And I turn to everybody, and I say, like, and now you see what my patron can offer. For prices that have nothing to do with us. We paid the blood of someone outside of our tribe. Someone who meant very little to us, if anything. Her usefulness, the only reason she was any kind of anything. We took her blood and we gave it to my patron, and he is going to grant me very powerful magic. All of you need to consider whether this is something that you find acceptable. If it is, begin to think on what you would ask from my patron. Something that he could grant to you. Something that would make you stronger and us as a swarm stronger. And then think on the price. And we'll acquire it. And everybody's kind of like solemn and quiet and thinking, you know, of things. And everybody, and I say, like, if you have a question, concern, an issue with what is happening right now, speak now, you know. And everybody basically says, like, I'm with you, or victory at any cost, or like strength to the swarm, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Basically, like, if it helps you achieve your objective, shaman, we wish to make you stronger and us as a whole stronger. It was fucking awesome. Oh, it was cool. It was pretty great. I'm very much looking forward to where that leads. I'm sad that one of our number had to take a death for it, but I am also very excited about, like, the playing to lose mentality of, like, being these kinds of villains, you know, where it's sort of like, probably we're gonna end up dead, you know, probably we're gonna end up dead and, like, horrible stuff is gonna happen to us, or, like, one of these things will go south, or somebody will remember something or see something that they're not supposed to. But the journey to that point will be so fun, you know? Oh, it'll be so good. And yeah, I'm just corrupting my entire little group of people, like, bringing them in on my ideology of, like, fuck the gods, they don't give you anything. Fuck the gods, they don't give you anything. Make a deal with a demon and gain power. And I said to them all, like, don't make your own deals. Don't speak to these demons on your own. If they come to you, if they speak to you directly, kill them, and then come to me and tell me what happened. I will mediate this. We will know that it is my demon and not some demon trying to trick you that we are making deals with. Now that we have a method to contact him, anything else that is demonic, kill it. You know? Anything else that gets in your way or accuses you of some horrible thing, kill it. We don't need suspicion. We don't need casting of doubts. Unless we call and they answer, kill them. You know? Like, I don't want demons showing up in the middle of the tavern and, like, trying to make deals with us, like, in plain view of everybody. If they do that, that's when they get a spear through their throat. You know? Fuck that shit. They're basically trying to make Aeryn into a demon lawyer. Like, all the deals come through me. I get something for them. Everybody else gets something for them. Everybody's happy.